Ladies and gentlemen, this YouTube video will explain the symbology that was used in the construction of the new Obama American flag. Now, as you look at this flag, you'll notice that there are 5 red stripes. On the real American flag, there are 13 stripes, 7 red and 6 white. 13 stripes in all that represent the 13 colonies that formed the United States of America. The Obama flag, if you look carefully, is not 5 red stripes and 4 white stripes. This is in fact a white canvas. The only stripes that are on this flag, on the main field of the flag, are in fact 5 red stripes. Why 5 red stripes? Why not 13 in all, like the American flag? Well, if you consider communism, there are many things that are grouped into 5. There are 5 parts of society that make up the masses: the peasants, the workers, the army, the intellectuals, and the youth. I don't know if these 5 stripes are supposed to represent that, or if they are supposed to represent the 5 evolutions of society, starting with primitive communism, slavery, feudalism, capitalism, and then finally the final transformation into communism. I would venture to guess that this was the intention of the designers of this flag. The top 2 levels, or top 2 stripes of this flag, are right next to the Obama symbol, representing the transformation from capitalism to communism. Now, these 5 red stripes look like they have been painted onto the canvas. Now, each of the 5 sections of Marxist society have their own symbol. For the peasants or farmers, it is the crop or the field or the sickle. The workers are generally represented by a fist or a hand or a hammer. The army is represented in some cases by the silhouette of an AK-47. That's an assault rifle, in case you didn't know. And the intellectual, in many cases, especially on Eastern communist seals, intellectuals are depicted with a paintbrush. I don't think it's any coincidence that these 5 stripes look like they have been painted onto this new Obama American flag. It is the symbol of the intellectual, who is supposed to be Obama. So the 13 colonies, or 13 original states, have given way to the 5 evolutions of communism, and the field of 50 states, or 50 stars, was replaced by Obama himself. See, the 50 sovereign states have all of the power except the powers that have been granted the federal government in the Constitution. Obama wants himself to be the sovereign in this country, with all of the powers deferring to him, not to the states, so that he can do what he wants to. He has already stated that this is his wish. He wished things were not so hard to do in Washington, and that he will govern by use of executive order, usurping the Constitution entirely, so that he can govern at his whim, and so that we can undergo this fundamental transformation from capitalism to communism. If you look at the Obama O, the top half is an actual O, or supposed to be. It's actually a blue sky with a rising sun. I'm not making this up. The designers of this symbol said that they wanted to turn this O into a rising sun. Now, the rising sun is exemplified on the crests of the Soviet Union, the Socialist Republic of Croatia, the Turkmen Soviet Socialist Republic, as well as Communist Romania. The bottom half of the O, which originally was a field of white and red stripes, red, white, red, is now in blue on this flag. The natural landscape, which is the bottom half of the O, is exemplified on the crest of the Socialist Republic of Macedonia, Romania, and the Karelo-Finnish Soviet Socialist Republic. I know what you're thinking. I'm full of it. It's an American flag. It's red and white stripes in the Obama O, and he colored it blue so that it would match the blue in our American flag. Well, if it's an American flag, how come it's laying down? How come it's laying down or bowing down or laying flat in front of the rising sun of communism? Now maybe these 5 stripes were supposed to originally represent the 5 types of people that made up communist society. They could also represent what the 5 points on the communist star represents, the 5 fingers of the worker's hand or the worker's fist. It's up to you to decide that, but it's up to me to share this with you before it's too late. Now, the following is an excerpt from one of my podcasts. I put out a podcast available on iTunes and available from jerrythepilot.com. That's Jerry, thepilot.com. The podcast is called the Tea Party Patriot Podcast. What I'm going to play for you now is an excerpt from my latest podcast number 19 of the Tea Party Patriot. You know, I haven't gotten into this in a couple of podcasts, but I wrote a book in 2009 titled The Last Tea Party, and in it there was a symbol that represented the new government in the United States, and it was what a little boy decided he would call a white rainbow flag. It was really supposed to be a rising sun over a backdrop of a white canvas. Now, he interpreted it as a white rainbow because most of it was white, most of the flag was white, and it looked like what he thought was, not a circular sky or an arc, but an actual rainbow. So the little boy called it the white rainbow flag. And so now I'm going to read to you quickly an excerpt of The Last Tea Party, a political thriller by J.T. Quintana. This book is available Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and also jerrythepilot.com, my own website. So what I have here for you is an excerpt from The Last Tea Party. So page 120, we join school, which is in session for little David. This will be the last week that we'll say the pledge with the words written on the board. After we say it, we'll do an exercise to help us remember it. Ready? Mrs. Adder gave the class a quick once-over to make sure that everyone was behaving properly. Self-conscious, she wanted them to focus on the flag, not the scaly patches of ichthyosis that coated her arms and neck. David looked up at the little white flag that hung from the top left corner of the marker board. He called it the White Rainbow Flag. We pledge allegiance to the President of the United States of America, and to the love, unity, fairness, and equality for which he stands. We are one of many nations, perfected with civil liberty and social justice for all. Very good. Please be seated. There was another 3-second commotion as all the children took their seats. Mrs. Adder passed out a white sheet of paper to each student. Now, put your name at the top of the paper. David S., he wrote carefully. Next, she said, as she removed the flag from its pole mount and clipped both ends to the top of the marker board. I placed the flag like this so that you can see it better. Your first assignment is to draw and color it. After that, you're to copy the Pledge of Allegiance onto your paper. Be sure your flag isn't too big so that you have enough room on your paper to write the pledge underneath it. David got out his ruler and marked the edges of the flag with his pencil. Next, he started to draw the middle of it. He quickly became frustrated because he didn't like drawing curves. They never came out even. He erased the first 3 attempts, then settled on his 4th, reasoning that it would be good enough for Mrs. Adder. He grabbed some crayons and filled the colors in it to match the flag that was hanging in the front of the class. Next, being careful to write small so that it would all fit, he copied the pledge onto it. Why did they change the America part? David remembered saying it last year in Mrs. Livingston's class, with the old flag. He liked it better because he could draw stars much easier than he could draw curves. He remembered standing in front of Billy, listening to Billy say underdog when the rest of the class said under God. That part was missing too. He wondered whose class Billy was in this year, and if Billy noticed the changes as well. Folks, last night, Fox News, Sean Hannity had a couple of the other hosts and commentators on his television show. They held up the flag, and they made a mockery of the flag using a mockery of the Pledge of Allegiance. And it was I pledge allegiance to Obama. It wasn't quite like this one, but it was quite shocking, especially to someone who'd already written it in the book 3 years earlier. Please share this information, whoever you can. Stay motivated, stay excited about this election. It's our only hope. In for Jerry the Pilot, I am J.T. Quintana, the Tea Party Patriot, signing off.